We begin our meditation today. Let's bring the attention to the present moment. And seek to bring the mind into a silent space. Silence is already within you. It is not something that you do. It is something that you give attention to. Letting go of thinking. Let's seek today in our meditation to expand the consciousness of the observer. Center in your individuality, your sense of self, your consciousness of self. Just observing the thought space, letting go of all thoughts, so only consciousness of being is there. That itself is a major practice. Letting go of thoughts is not easy. It's easy to be caught up in a thought. It is easy before you know it to get caught into emotions. And to habitual tendencies of the body and mind. Listen to the silence in the inner space. Listen, there is silence in there. When you let go of thoughts, take your attention away from them, you can put your attention to the silence. And just stay in observing being. Learn to be comfortable with that posture. No expectations, no judgments, no labeling. Just beingness. And to go deeper into that, use the breath. Spinal column awareness, brain awareness. That you may observe every level of being. Physical level, vitality level, emotional level, mental level, from a center of pure being. The breath will help you to bring balance. Balance brings more stability in the silent space, more clarity in the consciousness. As much as you're seeking to enter the silence, the divine is seeking within you to express its presence in the silence. So open your consciousness to that dimension of divine grace, seeking to manifest within you. But it can only do so as you become more and more open and silent in the inner space. If you are aware of the practice of the microcosmic orbit, it's a good practice to bring balance and stability in the inner space and to balance the energies. Using the breath, the spinal column, and the energy centers. Mind and breath must be engaged in the vast space of silence. Join me now as we all center in that space of grace. slowly bring your attention back to the gross experience of the body and the gross world around you. Just bring your attention, staying centered in the silence of the inner space. Energize the gross senses by breathing deeply into the gut, into the chest, to the throat. This is an important process in bringing your attention back to the gross world to which you need to give attention to today. And draw the breath of life into the body with excitement of a new day. The joy of a new breath. For life to come into the child, it has to take a strong breath. With more oxygen to the system, the brain will be more active in the external world. With strong belly breathing, you'll get a sense of light and color and form around you. With root consciousness, you get the sense of smell becoming heightened. My body is guiding me to do this. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this as a treat to the body to begin a new day. Let's give attention to this day, to all the active gross senses, to the subtle energy of the inner world, the energy of the mind, the heart, the gut, prana, and to the excitement of another unfolding day in the karmic play. However life features today, I seek to be ready for it, because the divine is with me. I'm a co-creator today with the divine. Let's center in that divine center of being, that space of infinite qualities and consciousness, and give attention to this new day. I center my consciousness in the source of my being. The God space, the God experience, the God center. I stay centered there, that my every thought, word, and action in this day be a blessing to my world, be a source of light. I give thanks for all the blessings I have received, and I pray to continue to be worthy. Om. Peace. 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 I center in peace. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say a few words today. And the divine response in our sadhana, in our spiritual practice, that our practice can be dry and full of effort if we don't give attention to the divine response that is always there when we sincerely seek. I can remember my sadhana days of very dry. I would sing myself into some kind of peace, chanting the mantras. It would stay for a while and disappear. But I can understand now it was only superficial. That I drowned my mind getting rid of the thoughts in just the song, the chant. But it was superficial. The deeper layers of consciousness were not experienced. I search everywhere to find that divine response. How can the divine be in my play? And I thought I was so sincere in everything that I did, but it was so difficult, so difficult. I felt absolutely lonely, but not abandoned, because I know it had to do with me, not the divine. And ultimately, when I came in the energy field of the Master, that did the trick. Something happened. I needed the energy field of the Master. And that awakened within me a divine response. That made all the difference in my sadhana. What was important about that divine response is that it stayed. Every time I could go back and find that response. Sometimes it would be lost, but it was me when I got caught in the physical world. But when I come back into the practice, the divine response is there. So I know it was always about me, like the prodigal son, straying into the senses, becoming so caught up in the things around me. And it was as if the divine is always knocking at my door, say, hey, look for me, look for me, look for me, it's there. And so the divine response made all the difference. So I learned more and more to stay with the divine response and grow it. And so my sadhana was about growing the divine response. So you would know my story. I came back into the active world after my stay in India. And very excited about putting it into practice. So I went back into the workplace, but it was totally different because I stayed with the divine response. In working in the classroom, as I was teaching, I stayed with that. I stayed in the silence, stayed in the witnessing, stayed with the divine, stayed in love with the students. And this new energy was amazing. I knew what to say, how to say, when to say. Even all my actions seemed to be inspired with energy. And so my workplace became my sadhana. It became a place of manifestation of the divine in and through me. So that was a most glorious period of my life. Of course, I was in no place of enlightenment, but I had this divine companion with me continuously, and that made all the difference. So I fully understand sadhana without a divine response, how dry and miserable it can be because you're thinking how sincere I am. So we need to get into that field, and the divine always provides that field, the field of the Master, or the field of masters. And even before I went to India, even before I went to look for these masters, dream came to me. The Master came into a dream. I didn't know who the Master was, but with one straight look into my eyes, I started to see smoke. And then they appeared. Now this yogi was looking at me straight with a red mark in the forehead, looking at me straight, eye to eye, and then the smoke started. And then I saw the feet of a blue murti. And then immediately woke up. I was resting, I was reading, because I was deeply into the reading the works of Swami Vivekananda. And I put a little book on my chest. And then this dream came. So I thought when I found a master, it would be that master. And then somehow this blue celestial form would be a part of it. So Even if before I could be in the field of the Master already was with me, almost like a way of beckoning me. So we need to trust in the universe. We need to trust that the divine response is there. We need to trust that the divine leads when we sincerely seek. And so I've always learned to be in trust after that experience of divine response in India. I've always learned to trust. And even as I traveled throughout India, I would tend to lose it at times, but I would get it back. I'd get it back so long as I take the attention inward, so long as I remember the place, so long as I kept in the connection with the practices, it came back, it came back, it came back, it came back, and it never left. It grew within me with deeper and deeper connection with the divine. So I know for the seeker, we are never hopeless in this space. I see some of you struggle with the sadhana, but don't give up. Don't give up. It's us when our senses are not clear enough. It's us when we stray away from the divine. It's us. So sincerely seeking is important. You don't expect to seek in one day and expect a lifetime of returns. No, you are in a world that is still dark. We are souls who have come into a dark world. The energy around, it's never favorable. So we have to put ourselves in energy spaces that are high. And we need to be committed to sadhana. That's why I create all these spaces. So we can build an energy field that will be conducive to every seeker seeking for uplift. So look for the divine response in sadhana. It will come to you. It'll come to you. Never feel that you're undeserving if you're sincerely seeking, all in the right time. And yesterday I spoke about the karmic play. Don't try to push it. There are so many influences. The karmic influence, the genetic influence, the planetary influence. Relationships influence, duties in the space. We need to work with what is before us. But more importantly, in the inner world, we need to seek the divine response. In the inner world, we need to honor the outer with all the duties, responsibilities, influences. But in the inner world, the seeking has to be strong because therein we'll find all the tools for navigating in the outer. And this is what I've taught you in every 40 days. I've given you tools to navigate the outer. People continuously want more information, but in every talk, in every practice, there's so much. So let me wish you a happy Sunday, everyone. Seek the divine response. Be committed to sadhana, and don't ever give up. Have a blessed day. Namaskar.